Hello students, welcome to lecture 11 on the chapter Current Electricity. Overview, meter bridge, potentiometer and its applications. Now let us try to understand these two topics one by one. Meter bridge. This device is a practical application of Wheatstone bridge. It is an instrument which works on the principle of balancing Wheatstone network. This works on the principle of balancing Wheatstone network. It is used to measure unknown resistance and compare two unknown resistances. With the help of this instrument, we can measure unknown resistance of the given material and we can also compare two unknown resistances. Construction. This is the arrangement of meter bridge, and we have three metal strips, and out of these three, two of them are L shape. 1, 2 and 3, and these are placed as shown in the diagram, and there is a small gap between these two strips, and that gap is called left gap, and there is another small gap between these two ends, and that gap is called as right gap, and a long wire is connected between AC, and this wire is called meter bridge wire, and it is made up of alloys like magnet and constantan. Why it is made with those wires? These alloys have low temperature coefficient and high resistivity. These wires are insensitive to the temperature for a certain range, and unknown resistance is connected at the left gap and it is given by R. Known resistance S is connected at the right gap, and a battery is connected across AC with plug key. AC is a uniform wire of length 1 meter. The length of this wire is 1 meter. R is unknown resistance. S is standard resistance box. It is known one. E is EMF of the battery. K is plug key. Next. RAC is resistance per unit length. It is resistance per unit length of this wire. Now let us connect galvanometer at point B, and other end of galvanometer is connected to a sliding contact or jockey. And let me tell what is galvanometer. It is an instrument which detects very small current, and that is called as galvanometer, and there is a needle and it will be at 0. Now when this sliding contact is in contact with A, then the needle starts moving in one direction, that is moving towards left side right now, and this shows that there is a flow of current in the galvanometer, and due to this needle will move from 0 to some value. It is shown here. Now when this sliding contact is removed from point A, then this needle comes to 0. Why it comes to 0? Because there is no flow of current in the galvanometer. Now again I make a contact with point C, then the needle starts moving in opposite direction. Initially it was moved towards left side, now it is moved towards right side. This shows that now the current is flowing in opposite direction. Now when the sliding contact is removed from point C, again the needle comes to 0. Now what I will do, I will move sliding contact from point A towards point C, and at certain point in between these two or somewhere on this wire we get 0 deflection, and that point is called balancing point. We have a point somewhere here, and that point is named as D. At this point Though the sliding contact is in contact with wire, the deflection in the galvanometer is 0. Why it is 0? The potential at this point and this point is same. Hence, no current flows through galvanometer. Hence, meter bridge is said to be balanced. Now, is said to be balanced, and the length AD is L, and that length is called balancing length. Okay, now comparing this with Wheatstone network bridge. Okay, this is Wheatstone network, and if we compare this with meter bridge, okay, at R where R2 is placed or where R2 is connected, R is connected in the meter bridge, and R4 is equal to S here, and R1 is equal to resistance of wire AD, and R3 is equal to resistance of wire DC, and it is given by comparing these two. When you compare these two, we can say that R2 is equal to R and R4 is equal to S. Now, we have already studied that resistance is directly proportional to length. Hence, by that, we can write it as resistance of wire AD is equal to R1, that is equal to RAC into L. What is RAC? It is resistance per unit length. For a given length, this R should be multiplied with L. Now, resistance of wire DC is equal to R3, that is equal to RAC into 1 minus L. Okay, now we know the balanced condition for Wheatstone network, that is given by R1 by R3 is equal to R2 by R4. Putting the values of R1, R2, R3 and R4 in this equation, we can show that RAC into L divided by RAC into 1 minus L is equal to R divided by S. Okay, RAC and RAC will get cancelled, and finally rearranging all these terms, we can express this equation in terms of R, that is given by R equal to S into L divided by 1 minus L. Okay, with the help of this equation, we can find the value of unknown resistor R by knowing the values of S and by measuring the value of L. Okay, this is one of the application of meter bridge. Potentiometer. Potentiometer is an instrument which measures EMF of a cell, and it can also compare EMF of two cells, and with the help of this we can find the internal resistance of a cell. Potentiometer is also called as pot, which is used to control electrical devices such as volume controls on the audio equipments. For example, radio. If you want to control the volume of the radio, then these potentiometers are used. With the help of this, you can vary the audio of radio. Now, let us try to understand what is potentiometer, and here we will be studying two important applications of potentiometer. It is an instrument consisting of long piece of uniform wire across which a standard cell is connected. Okay, this diagram shows a potentiometer. Okay, it is a long piece of uniform wire. Okay, we have a long piece of uniform wire. It is arranged as shown in the figure. Okay, the length of each line is equal to 1 meter. We have a meter scale here, and totally it is 4 meter in this. And a cell is connected across the wire, and hence this is called as potentiometer. Okay, uses to find EMF of a cell, to find internal resistance, and also we can compare EMF of two cells. Now, let us see what is the principle of potentiometer. Okay, we have a wire, and this wire is called as potentiometer wire. A battery is connected across potentiometer wire, and this circuit is called primary circuit. Okay, this is a battery. Positive of battery is connected at point A and negative is connected with key, other end of key to rheostat and upper end of rheostat to B. This circuit is called primary circuit, and rheostat will act as a potential divider or variable resistance. Now voltmeter is connected to this wire. One terminal of voltmeter is connected at A and other one is connected with sliding contact. Okay, when you move the sliding contact on this wire, the voltmeter reading goes on increasing. Okay, by this we come to know that V is directly proportional to L. For example, if this sliding contact is placed at this point, reading in the voltmeter will be 0. When this is placed somewhere here, we get some reading, and there's a length between these two. And if the same sliding contact is placed somewhere here, the reading increases, and even length of the wire also increases. And as we increase the length of the wire between 2 points, even the reading in the voltmeter also increases. By this, we can give the statement for working principle of potentiometer. That is, here this is length. For this length, we get some voltage V. Okay, working principle of potentiometer. When a steady current flows through a wire, the potential drop across any portion of the wire is directly proportional to the length of that portion of the wire, provided the wire is of uniform area of cross section. When a steady current flows through a wire, potential drop across any portion of the wire is, okay, there will be a potential drop across any portion. You can take any portion of the wire is directly proportional to length of that portion of the wire, provided the wire should have uniform cross section area. Okay, when you place this sliding contact somewhere here, I get voltage value V. Okay, let me name it as V1. When you place the same one at this point, I get V2. When I place it here, I get V3, and so on. That means by this, as length increases, even potential drop also increases across the wire. Therefore, by this we can say that V is directly proportional to L. V is directly proportional to L, and we can write this equation as V equal to phi into L. And I want to express this in terms of phi. That is equal to phi is equal to V divided by L. Potential drop per unit length is called potential gradient. Potential drop with respect to length is called potential gradient, and it is constant for a given potentiometer. Okay, this is the working principle of potentiometer. Now, let us move to the applications of potentiometer. First one, to find or to compare EMF of two cells. Okay, potentiometer with two circuits. First one, primary circuit. Primary circuit consists of battery, key, and rheostat. Okay, it consists of these three components, and the circuit connection is shown in the figure. Okay, this circuit is called primary circuit. See, we have a battery, key, and rheostat, and a potentiometer wire is connected here. In secondary circuit, there will be two cells and galvanometer, which could be connected to cell one at a time. Okay, two cells will be connected, cell 1 and cell 2, and these two are connected to a galvanometer, and other end of galvanometer is connected with sliding contact. Okay, this circuit is called secondary circuit. Okay, a circuit which is connected with battery is called as primary circuit, and a circuit which is connected with cells is called secondary circuit. Okay, we have two cells of EMF E1 and E2, and this is galvanometer. And now let us try to compare EMF of two cells. First, a key which is connected with E1 is closed. Okay, this key is closed. Now whatever the readings we are taking, that is related with E1. Okay, this sliding contact is placed at point near A. I get deflection in the galvanometer and it is shown towards left side, and then the position of sliding contact is changed. The deflection in the galvanometer decreases, and you should keep on moving the sliding contact towards B, and at a particular point galvanometer shows zero deflection. Then this is said to be balanced. Okay, when it is said to be balanced, when there is no current flowing through the galvanometer. Okay, now this point is called as balancing point, and length is called as balancing length, and it is represented by L1. Now applying Kirchhoff's loop rule. Applying Kirchhoff's loop rule to the loop CGE1 and AC. CGE1 AC. We can write it as, see here the current is flowing along this direction and loop is also running along the same direction, hence potential drop across this length is taken to be negative, and here the loop is moving from lower potential to higher potential. It is moving in increasing potential, hence EMF of this cell is taken as positive. Okay, we can write it as minus phi into L1 plus E1 is equal to 0. Okay, this I can write it as E1 is equal to phi into L1. Let this equation be 1. Now let us take the reading for second cell. Okay, now this key is opened and this key is closed, and sliding contact is placed on the potentiometer wire and started moving towards B. We get some deflections in the galvanometer. As you go on moving, the deflection in the galvanometer comes to 0, and again we get a balancing point for cell 2, and that balancing length is represented by L2. Okay, now by applying Kirchhoff's voltage rule for this loop, that is CGE2AC, applying voltage rule for this one. Here current is flowing along this direction and even loop is running along this direction, hence potential drop across L2 is negative, and loop is running in positive direction, hence our loop is running in increasing potential, hence EMF of this cell is taken as plus E2. Okay, we can write it as minus phi into L2 plus E2 is equal to 0. Therefore E2 is equal to phi into L2. Let this equation be 2. Now we got two equations for E1 and E2. Dividing equation 1 by equation 2, we get E1 divided by E2 is equal to L1 divided by L2. Okay, here phi and phi are common, hence these two will get cancelled, and finally with the help of this expression we can find, or we can compare EMF of two cells by measuring the value of L1 and L2. And let me give one example for this. If L1 is equal to 1 meter and L2 is equal to 2 meter, then EMF E1 is half of E2, or E2 is 2 times E1. Okay, like this we can compare EMF of two cells. And if E2 is known and E1 is unknown, by measuring L1 and L2 we can find the value of E1. Okay, this is the application of potentiometer to find EMF of a cell, and also we can compare EMF of two cells. Now second application, to find internal resistance of a cell. Again this circuit consists of two sub-circuits. One is primary circuit. It consists of battery, key and rheostat. Now key is named as K1. Secondary circuit, okay, this is primary circuit. Secondary circuit consists of a cell and a galvanometer. It consists of a cell and a galvanometer, and this circuit is called secondary circuit. And in addition to this, resistor and key K2 are connected in parallel to cell. Okay, we connect K2 and resistor parallel to cell. Now, this is the arrangement for finding internal resistance of a cell. Initially, K1 is closed and K2 is opened. Then balancing length L1 is found. Okay, initially K1 is closed and K2 is opened. Then we find a balancing length L1. Okay, it is given by this. Then by applying Kirchhoff's voltage rule, we can write it as, by applying Kirchhoff's voltage rule for loop CGEAC, we can write it as minus phi into L1 plus E is equal to 0. That is, E is equal to phi into L1. Let this equation be 1. Now, K2 is closed, R is included in the circuit, and let L2 be the balancing length. Okay, now when K2 is closed, a part of current is flowing through this. A current is flowing through this, and due to this, the terminal potential across the cell reduces, or the voltage across the cell decreases, or the potential drop across the cell is called as terminal potential difference. Now by applying Kirchhoff's loop rule for the loop ACGEA or CGEAC, we can write as minus phi into L2 plus V is equal to 0, where V is equal to phi into L2. Let this equation be 2. Now divide equation 1 by 2. Divide equation 1 by 2. We get E by V is equal to L1 by L2. We know that V is equal to E into R divided by R plus small r. Putting this value in this equation, we get E divided by E into R divided by R plus small r is equal to L1 divided by L2. That is equal to E into R plus small r divided by E into R is equal to L1 by L2. Okay, these two E's will get cancelled, and finally we get R plus small r divided by R is equal to L1 divided by L2. Taking R as a common, we get 1 plus R divided by R is equal to L1 divided by L2. And finally rearranging these, we get R divided by R is equal to L1 by L2 minus 1. That is equal to L1 minus L2 divided by L2. Finally we can express small r is equal to R into L1 minus L2 divided by L2. Okay, with the help of this expression, we can find internal resistance of a cell. If we know the value of R, and by measuring the value of L1 and L2, we can find the value of internal resistance of a cell. Okay, this is another application of potentiometer. Thank you.